You're listening to the Greeks Gridiron, live with Ethan Haristodoulou.
Welcome back to the Greeks Gridiron, everyone. I am Ethan Haristodoulou. It is February 23rd, 2022, and today I am bringing you the first half of my USFL Draft recap. We will start with day one today. I was hoping to get both the videos out today, but I am working tonight, and my day has run a little long, so I will get you my recap for day one today, and then I will do my recap for day two tomorrow, and we will also get the final of our divisional power rankings out as well. So I think I'm going to hit you guys with two videos tomorrow and just this one for today. We are going over my 5 favorite picks coming out of the day one. And the reason I'm only doing my 5 favorite picks and I'm not sitting here reading through a bunch of all these different draft picks is because if I feel like nobody really knew who was going to be in this draft pool going into it, and to sit here and act like you are an expert on every single person that was drafted from day one is kind of silly, but I can go over some of the guys that I do know about or some guys that I did look into that I thought were really good picks for their respective teams. So I whittled it down to 5 guys. I even have a 6th pick that is my least favorite of the draft. We'll go over, so make sure you stick around to the end of that. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss day two's recap tomorrow, and let's talk. So first one on the list, this is in no particular order. This is just 5 of my favorite picks from the first day of the USFL draft. First one up that I have to talk to you guys about is Devonta Busby, the cornerback going to the Generals. I think this is a really good pick for the team. It's a solid choice for the first round of secondary that was being picked. Now, he has a handful of games played in the NFL, 26 altogether. He had 6 starts, 8 passes defense, not a ton of, turnovers forced or any real serious playing time per se. But I will say this, when he was at Pittsburgh State, when I go through the numbers here, and a lot of the conversation I'm having today is more production based than anything else, he had 11 total interceptions in his time while he was there. So clearly he has a nose for the football. He spent a significant amount of time in the pros as well. So I think when you gather it up and you look at, experience, ability to play, nose for the football, I think this is a really good pick for the Generals. I really like the guy as well. I enjoyed Devonta Busby, especially when he was in Denver as well. But overall, I think it's a really good pick for the secondary. Again, he was taken in the very first round that cornerbacks were taken, so this is probably going to be their top cornerback of the group. I like the pick. I think experience, production, it's all there. It's just a matter of him putting it all together now here in the USFL. Second guy coming up on the list here, this one is for the New Orleans Breakers. I have quarterback Kyle Sloter, who went in the first round of the USFL draft. This is a guy that does not have a ton of actual start time play experience in the regular season of the NFL, but he does have 346 total snaps in the NFL preseason. And within those 346 snaps, he had 1,222 yards, 11 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. And now when you think, okay, this is the preseason, he's playing against backups. Well, the preseason talent is a similar caliber of talent that he's probably going to be going up against here in the USFL. So I feel like those numbers actually do transfer over fairly well into this league. On top of that, I just want to say thank you to Adam Levitin, who is the guy that I pulled this from on Twitter. He was the one that had all those numbers pulled out. I don't think I've ever seen preseason numbers pulled anywhere for anyone. So when I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw those numbers come up and I looked at some of the video of him playing, I was like, oh, okay, Kyle Sloter actually might be a really good sleeper quarterback taken here for the New Orleans Breakers. So I do like the pick. I think that compared to some of the big name QBs that were in this draft, this one might have flew under the radar a little bit. Next up on my list of 5 here, I have Jonathan Newsom, edge rusher for the Birmingham Stallions. This is a really good pick in my opinion. Jonathan Newsom was on the Colts for his rookie season and second year in the NFL, so I do know a little bit more about him than I do a lot of the guys that were in this draft. He led the Colts in sacks with 6.5 his rookie season, and he also had 4 forced fumbles to boot on top of it. He was booted from the NFL in his second year due to marijuana possession issues and whatnot. He was charged with that, and ultimately, that ends in the NFL. Don't mess around with Mary, or otherwise, you're out of a job. So it was unfortunate to see him kind of have his career flamed out the way it did, because I was very excited for him his very first year when he was brought on to Indy. I think this guy, despite the fact that that he's, I believe, 30 or 31 right now. He brings experience. He brings ability to play. And on top of that, when he was in the NFL, he does have a resume of success against really good talent. So I think that could transfer over. I think he's going to be a leader for the defensive side of the locker room, or in just the locker room as a whole. Again, a little bit more of an advanced age player compared to some of the younger guys that are littered throughout the league right now after this year's first USFL draft. But I do like the pick. I like Birmingham and the Stallions, and I think that they really focused in on like defensive play, and on top of that, defensive play and known defensive play. So I like the Newsom pick. I think it's a really good one for them. Next up on here, this one is for the Maulers. I have Jenny Harris. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, please correct me. Of the Maulers, another cornerback as well. He has spent some time in the NFL. He has spent some time in the XFL as well. On top of that, 17 total passes defensed, 6 interceptions, a forced fumble, and 3 total touchdowns in his career at USC. This guy has a nose for the ball, a nose for forcing turnovers, and while, despite not having maybe the pro league numbers and everything like that, again, you're not playing against NFL caliber talent week in and week out here. We're playing against like the level below that, which these numbers I feel could translate over. I think this was a really good pick for the Maulers here. I'm hoping that the Maulers can end up having a hard-hitting defense. I think that being a Pittsburgh team, that's probably something they were focusing on here. They picked a guy who can force turnovers, hence his 7 career turnovers at USC, and a guy that also has experience, again, in both the NFL and the XFL, so he has a handful amount of playing time underneath his belt as well in the pro setting of the world. So I do like the pick. I think it's a solid one there. My last favorite pick of the draft here, and this one goes to the Tampa Bay Bandits, is going to be their offensive tackle pick, Tyler Catalina. He played for UGA his senior year. Before that, he was playing in Rhode Island. This is a guy that he brings size, athleticism, NFL experience. He was on the Washington Commanders for the 2017 season. He was playing in the CFL after that. 6'5", 330 pounds. He is a big dude, a big tackle, a guy that can shore up either the left or right side. I believe he played left side, if I'm not mistaken. This is a guy that I think will make a really big difference for them on the offensive line. And you know, he has big school experience, pros experience. We'll have to see how things pan out for him ultimately. I feel like the offensive lines, and maybe even the defensive lines, but more so the offensive lines than anything else, are probably going to be the biggest mystery for the USFL going into their inaugural season here, trying to get those guys to mesh together and see who really performs well, because I have such a hard time, one, trying to find tape on specific linemen, and 2, even trying to find just like statistical numbers like sacks allowed, pass rush, or pass block win rate, run block win rate, things like that, especially for guys that aren't, in the NFL or in some of those pro leagues. Those numbers are so hard to find, but I do like the resume that he has. Size fits the bill. I think he'll be a solid pick for the Bandits and shoring up that offensive line there. Now, as for my least favorite pick of day number 1, it came in the final round, the final pick of day 1. It was quarterback Paxton Lynch. Not a great choice in my opinion. He was probably one of the worst first-round quarterbacks taken within the last, 10, 15, 20 years, and this is not me, hating on him or anything like that, but did not really pan out well in the NFL. It's crazy to me because he's one of those guys that like a team, the Denver Broncos, moved up for to jump and leapfrog the Chiefs, because I guess the Chiefs apparently had some interest in him as well. Ended up drafting him. He was supposed to be like the heir apparent after Peyton Manning left the Denver Broncos, and of course that didn't really work out. We all know what happened. Brock Osweiler kind of was the guy, so-so, and since then Denver hasn't really figured it out since Manning has left. But not a big fan of the pick. I just don't think that he has really shown a ton, and he's definitely going to be a clipboard guy in my opinion. We'll see what happens for him ultimately, but I think there's a reason that he was the last quarterback taken in the group. I don't know. But that is my quick little recap of day 1. Let me know what you guys think. Who were some of your favorite picks? Who was some of your least favorite picks? Who left you scratching your head as to why they were even drafted onto a team here? If you have any knowledge on some of these guys, let me know in the comment section down below. And like I said, I will catch you guys tomorrow with the day 2 recap, along with my divisional power rankings for the final division, the AFC West. So hit that sub button so you don't miss out. See you guys next time.